Knowledge is power. That's the reason why we're here, to acquire a certain amount of knowledge in order to go our different trajectories, our different ways, and make a difference in this world. How many of you have been in a union or have relatives who have been in unions before? Yeah. Well, I grew up a poor kid in the South Bronx, and ever since I was able to work, I worked from, I believe, age 10 on. I've always been involved in some kind of labor union situation. When I was in high school, from age 15 to the time I graduated, I worked for the Postal Service and worked for the Postal Union. I always saw that the union in my life was one that manifested a certain kind of extended family support system. And for a poor African American youth whose parents came from the South, to find a network of relief and support was key to my success and my sense of self-confidence. So that's my personal story, at least with the unions when I was younger. Obviously, once I got through college, I joined the police union. I was a cop for a minute or two, and then moved into the higher ranks. And then when I was in administration, of course, we didn't talk about unions except for how to stop them. And I grew up through Ronald Reagan and what they did and how they demonized the union. But historically speaking, the union has always been here. It predates the United States, obviously. We've had guilds in Europe and Asia. All of these elements are like precursors to unions. African Americans, even when they were enslaved, had a role in union organizing, and in fact, slavery sort of counteracted the evolution of the labor movement in the United States versus other Western nations. Most Western nations have labor unions who are political parties. In the United States, not the case at all, and that was because of the race-class economic dynamics. And African Americans are just, because it's my background, in the 19th century were the primary source of caulking in ships, and the United States was a major shipbuilder. So caulking, there was a caulking union, and the caulking union won benefits. So we have a long history of this dance of the labor union with the powers that be, the Rockefellers, the Carnegies, all of these people we love and extol, not me, but they have had a very negative impact on the lifestyle as they have had a positive impact on our economics and technology. So this is a dance that we continue to live with. From the 1870s to 1960s, the primary employer of African Americans in the United States was the Pullman car company. And so you've heard of Pullman Porters. That was the major piece there. And in the 1930s, 40s, a fellow by the name of A. Philip Randolph organized the Pullman Porters to create a union, the first all-African American union in the United States. And it was successful at guaranteeing certain basic rights for the workers. And A. Philip Randolph ultimately became very much a part of the civil rights movement. And it goes on and on. Our relationship between social justice movements and labor has always been one that has changed this country for the better. So I'm looking at it as a professor of social justice and African American history and so on and so forth. And there's a power, there's a resonance in all of this and what we're doing today. Even today, here at Antioch University with this teach-in, we are expressing our opinions and our feelings, as the University of Missouri is doing the same Harvard is doing the same. We're all expressing our concerns about human rights and our voice in decision making. And that's the big concern here. We're not demonizing the administration. My God, I'm a part of it, and I'm the director of. It is the importance of having a voice at the table when decisions are being made, as Mark and Don have expressed. And that's something that we demand. It is our right to have a say in how to help this great, illustrious educational institution, but community, realize its full potential. And you, the students, are our future. And we can't move forward unless we share with you our concerns and our limitations, our constraints, and our fight. This is a fight. So that's what I have to say. I would like to just read a piece here briefly. It's an anecdote of what happened in 1968 in Memphis, Tennessee. I am a man, the signs proclaimed in large, bold letters. They were held high, proudly and defiant, by African-American men marching through the streets of Memphis, Tennessee in the spring of 1968. They were striking union members, sanitation workers, demanding that the city of Memphis formally recognize their union and thus grant them a voice in determining their wages, hours, and working conditions. Hundreds of supporters joined their daily marches, most notably Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He had been with the 1,300 strikers from the very beginning of their bitter struggle. Those struggles, the struggles of workers for union rights, often are considered to be of no great importance. That is not true. It's us. We're the greatest importance. But Dr. King knew better. He knew that the right to unionization is one of the most important of civil rights. Virtually his last act was in support of that right, for he was killed by an assassin's bullet as he was preparing to lead the strikers in yet another demonstration. I can read more. Ultimately, his assassination helped the union realize their demands. What a high price. But what he had said, King had said, the civil rights movement, it's all about the individual supporting the greater good, as well as the concept of Ubuntu, which is my identity. And it's a Bantu concept that was used during anti-apartheid era in South Africa, Ubuntu, U-B-U-N-T-U. And it says that our identity is informed by the community in which we operate. So this union, what we're talking about, it's a community, and we're operating for the greater good, not only of the employees, but more importantly, the greater good of the students. So more to come, but we'd like you to be there next week. We want you to feel like you're a voice in this effort, and we'll share with you the information we have so we can all process this together. Remember, knowledge is power.
Thank you. Thank you.